This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. How the devil are we? Welcome along. We're back again tonight with another special. And I know there's going to be so many people watching tonight because they heard about the song. I've had so many requests today that can we play it again? Can we do it again? Well, I've got to do a bit of work on it, but yeah, our version of the Barnes rap. Just keep watching because you never know. It was a classic, wrong direction more than one direction, and I think it's probably old men on the street corner rather than new kids on the block. But hey, it was a bit of fun. It was a bit of fun. How are you doing? Excuse me. Bartram's on his way, allegedly. Hey, it's all happening, isn't it? And this is the Leicester War Show.
Let battle commence.
It's the Leicester War Show
On Leicester Till I Die TV.
But who will win? Join in now.
Yep, this is Leicester Till I Die. We are on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV, Facebook at Leicester Till I Die the group, and if you do live in the Twitter sphere, which is probably working because my Facebook group's not been working for me today, in the Twitter sphere we are at Leicester TID, and if you are watching us on YouTube, or even if you're not, get over onto YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, and give us a subscribe. We could really do with those numbers, so every little button that is pressed helps us. And I don't blame you for this after last night's sing-along. If you prefer just to listen to us rather than watch us, then get us on the podcasts about 5 minutes after the show finishes. Spotify, Amazon, Apple iTunes, and Google. And you will find us there. Yeah, even singing, I'm sorry. You can't turn... Well, you can turn the volume down for that bit, I guess. But... was he singing? This is the question, Brad. Allegedly, you weren't singing along.
No, I get very embarrassed being live and doing things like that. It was fun. It was hilarious to listen to you guys with the unsync melody, but it just something for me. I just couldn't do. It's nothing personal to the Barnes rap or any song, but no, I must confess.
You just needed 29,000 people around you, didn't you, to join in?
I was kind of the one, you know, them performers that kind of get 2 seconds into a song and go, you know the words. That was me. That was me with the crowd.
Yeah, you've just paid 70 quid to go and see. But yeah, Craig had no such inhibitions, did you, Craig?
No, you got to go for it. You know, we needed someone to wave the baton, and that was Brad's role. And unfortunately, I think he's got Parkinson's because we were all over the bloody place. So
we'll blame it on the links between the four of us, shall we? You know,
yeah, let's do that.
I did actually. I can tell you this now. I was going to tell you this before we came live, but I thought I'd save it for the show. I did actually clip it and upload it, but YouTube spat it back out at me. So it probably shows YouTube as some very good arbiters of taste. But
how the hell did they work out what it was supposed to be?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. In fairness, I did actually add a bit of the world in motion behind it just to give it a bit of atmosphere. So I think that's what might have done it. So you might have to just hear us in our own true voices, you know. But like I say, Simon Cowell's been on the phone, and I'll let you know if it goes any further.
Cheers, mate.
I tell you what, if we're going to do anything, we should have done the Masked Singer, shouldn't we? Then people couldn't see who it was. Facebook user, good evening. He says here, the new Bee Gees. I don't think I could get up that high. I don't know about you, Craig.
Definitely not. No. I might need some help with that one.
more like the tribute band, the Heebie-Jeebies.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. TM, good evening to you guys. Hope you're all well.
Hi, TM.
I enjoyed your sing along. Well, we've got one fan. We'll sell one copy if we release it as a charity. You've got all these countries now ringing me up saying, like, no, honestly, we're fine. We don't need the money. Don't have to do that for us.
She's a Spurs fan. She's got no taste.
Oh, Craig. Oh, just twist it while you take that knife in the back. Sorry, Brad, you were going to say.
I was saying we could at least send it in for Eurovision. We might get off the bottom then.
I think North Macedonia are looking for a group.
Yeah, we could put them on there, mate.
Yes.
Ironically, you've already guessed my team name for this. That's what I've gone with.
Can you imagine? You know, we'll be the official song of the North Macedonian football team. Yeah, Facebook user, stick your name on the end so we can give you a shout out. Eurovision, here we come. Yeah, and I think they'll just wave us straight through. I have got. We had a few problems last night, shall we say, with like where players might actually be on the pitch. You know that.
I got my left and my right mixed up. My left and my right mixed up.
So I do have some visual guides here for Brad. Now that is as he looks at it, rather than as I am.
So it's right and left. Right.
I don't know. Is it that way? I don't know which way it is, guys. But see, that's my left. But that'll be your right, won't it?
No, I can't. See, I don't know. Why are you asking me? I clearly don't know with me left and right. So why are you asking me if that's my left?
What we need is for Craig, who's at the bottom of the room, just to stick your hand up for right or left. You know, like University Challenge, you know, poking from underneath.
Well, yeah, there's right. That's my right arm, and that's my left, and that's both of them. Now that's confused you.
Yeah, you got no chance with that one.
I can't handle all this. I'm gone. Where's my goalkeeper? I'm not putting him anywhere.
And I'm afraid you've upset TM now. He said that wasn't nice. You know? Right. So tonight's show, you were each given 100 million, which I think I was being a bit generous at when it came down to it. But a fantasy battle. So you know not what you're thinking if you're watching.
Can I just say, Chris, that you took it down to 90. Now, if I've been,
I said I was thinking of taking it down to 90.
You sent a message and it had 90 in it, Chris. I'm being cheated already.
If you read that message, can I just say, the chances are, Greg, that you're going to get more of your players in because you'll have them in the right positions. So don't worry about it.
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if he's as good with his maths as he is with his left and right. He's probably way out anyway.
Well, let me just say,
I said this to Chris. The app doesn't actually give me the options to pick specific left back and right back and etc. So I have literally gone through midfield and done it that way. So my team won't be position wise to a point, but it will be. Don't worry. I have got players in there, but position wise, maybe.
And have you spent 100 million?
No, I actually spent. I had 24.5 million left before my bench. So I've even filled out the bench for my 100 million. I got it to a teammate.
Right. So that's pretty good.
So you see there, that shot your argument down, Craig.
It's not an argument. It was just a friendly question.
Yes. You know those glasses that you had on last night, Craig? Do you actually ever wear them? Because you never read the messages I sent. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I'm going to dig that one. I'm going to dig that particular one out, and I'm going to throw that back at you.
You know what?
I can find it.
You might have been right. I think you said we had 10 million spare, so we only had to use 90. I think Craig actually on the emails, unless it got corrected and Craig didn't check the updated email. I don't know.
Basically, Craig, you ran back and you messaged me and said that the Premier League gave you 100 million, but that was for more than 11 players. And I said, "Oh, should we drop it to 90?" And you said, "Yes, we possibly could." And then I said, after that, on a message, "No, it's not fair on the other guys. It's a bit late notice now. We'll leave it as it is."
Well, Chris, I know that that's not what I did. I said it was 90. We should go to 80, but it doesn't matter. We've got our teams.
80 million was never meant.
We've got our teams. Brad spent less anyway.
God, it's like
you know how you get the deciding vote on this. I like how one of the panelists has come on and is causing a fuss and argument with you. I'm just letting you know that, mate. Just remember. See, he's left now.
He has now. So he's gone. He's gone to check, hasn't he?
No. I don't need to check because I know I'm right, and my wife gave me many years of lessons in that particular subject. Now. You put me totally. You remind me of Gordon Taylor here. You're making the excuses up. Graham Taylor. You're making the excuses up before we've even started. So, you had a set amount of money to spend. We went now. Hopefully, remember we went for bloody 2 because it's easier. It's easier, and you were going to pick, like I say, the best players. We're going to come up with an ultimate fantasy team. Scott, well, good evening, Scott. Scott, I tell you what, hope you're all well. Well, I tell you what, I'm worn out already. I mean, literally, this is doing my anxiety and depression no good whatsoever. If I'm not on tomorrow's show, guys, you know this is what's tipped me over.
Chris, you gave it the name of Fantasy Wars. You can't expect it to be peaceful.
No, I can't. I suppose, But first of all, well, Brad, you've come up with a team name by the sound of it. I hadn't even thought about that. So, what's your team name?
Well, Craig guessed it cheekily earlier. I kind of tried to ride the wave of my predictions. My team that I have submitted on the app, and it will be on there for everybody to give a code to if they want me to join the league, is North Macedonia. So that's what my team has been called. I have stuck faithful with the North Macedonians. They
might actually start to believe that is their team if you've not added anything on the end. Craig, did you come up with a name at all? Apart from awkward bastards, have you come up with a name?
Well, the name I usually use when I'm entering these things, I'll go with that, although it may be a different one when I formally enter it. It's called the Cheesemakers.
Right.
And anyone who knows Life of Brian will know that they are blessed. So that's why.
Yes.
That's why they are the Cheesemakers.
Yes. I'm Craig. No, I'm Craig. Right. Okay. So you do not know how nervous I am at going into this because, and I dare overrule you and bring anybody in that I want because you'll just kill me like you did last night. Andrew, the Betty Swarlocks FC. Yes, we think I know what you mean in there. Right, let's start. And he says, moving on. And of course, we're going to start, as we always do, with the goalkeeper. And I am wondering how many Leicester players we're going to be picking throughout. And I suppose this is one of the best chances of getting a Leicester player in there. Brad, did you go with Schmeichel?
No, I didn't. I didn't go with Schmeichel because the restrictions are 3 members from each team.
Yeah.
I had other positions that I knew I couldn't not make a team without them in certain areas. So I went through the goalkeepers, and I thought one that probably was a big part in the change of fortunes at Chelsea, and only had half a season, but he gained a lot of points by just being there for a bit part of the season and taking over from Kepa. And I went with Mendy in goal. I put Mendy from Chelsea in goal for my team because I think he was definitely a very good and strong candidate for their player of the season. Because without him in goal, if they'd have got Kepa, I think they'd have continued in the form they were under Tuchel regardless. Mendy definitely has saved their brushes in terms of goalkeepers. So yeah, he's my goalkeeper I picked.
I have to say there, Brad, that you probably saved yourself because if you stuck with Kepa, that would have been thrown out. I'd have just given Craig a bye for that one because I'd
have left the screen, mate, if I'd have started my team with Kepa.
Yeah, I can't stand the guy. I should just say to everybody, by the way, that the guys, Craig and Brad, are restricted to a set amount of money, although that is disputable as to what that was. Creative accounting, I think we like to call it. That's what your team should be, Brad, Craig. Creative accounting.
Yeah, go with that.
But there are also they're tied into the formation, and we've got to say we've gone 4-4-2 just because it's easy. But they've also have been tied in to the three players from a team, but that obviously doesn't affect the final team because the final team, when I've chosen it, might actually have 4 or 5 players from the same team and might be over 100 million. But these guys had to stick. Well, I was hoping they would stick to the rules, but it doesn't. It doesn't work out. Okay, Craig, you're going to convince me now that you've got a better choice than Mendy.
Well, I've gone with it. You know that I like my stats to back up my choices. So I've gone for the guy who last season had the best clean sheet record versus minutes played, and that was Mendy of Chelsea. So I've made it easy for you.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Good evening to Ankit there, Aussie Bain Chelsea Fan TV. Give it a follow, give it a subscribe. Yeah, he's a Chelsea fan, and even he was surprised when you mentioned Kepa, but I think he was probably relieved when you moved on. Yeah, it is because I know, Craig, you use your head, you do go with your stats. Brad, you don't like stats at all, do you? And you just go with your heart, I think. So
no, but on this occasion, I actually did bother to check their points from the previous season, and that did make my decisions on some players easier. So to a point, I use stats, but yes, Craig definitely is the statisticians for this one.
Yeah,
but I agree. You could see the difference and the confidence that he gave the rest of the back four, and their all-round defensive record after Tuchel came in was much better. So, so for me, there was a couple of other options. Martinez had a great season at Villa, Schmeichel as well, but for me, Mendy just edged it.
Did Schmeichel get close to either of you's choice, or
he was
probably about third for me?
Yeah, I had 4 or 5 names, and knowing I wanted to definitely get a couple in made it a bit harder, and I'd rather have the players that I've got in because it allowed me to be a bit more versatile with the rest of the team. So yeah, he was definitely up there, but yeah, Mendy got it for me. And Craig.
For Brad, we're going to go for left back. Craig,
right.
Craig, stick your left hand up so he knows.
Left back. Now, again, when I build these teams on and out, I don't tend to necessarily go for the positions. I clearly get confused and don't know them. Now, right, okay, if I can continue, that'd be great. I have picked Diaz from Man City as a defender. I've gone with Diaz.
Diaz,
and Scholes. Scholes is my captain. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that, but I've got a triple captain on
Scholes. So you went for Diaz?
Yeah, because it allows you
as a left
any
back.
defender. Yeah, because the app allows you to put any defender in. It's a point scoring one, and he was one of the best players this season, hands down. So he has to get in that team. And for my team, he fits it with the ones I've got in there, mate. I'm not picking.
I like you thinking. I went for a team that might actually be able to play, but as a point scoring,
still get points.
Yeah, but
we do have right-sided left midfielders, right-footed left midfielders. In fairness,
I have gone for people in their positions, but I get Brad's point because it is all about point scoring. So if 4 centre backs will get more points, then fair play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you were choosing, and I think this is the fact, if you were choosing, and I'm guessing it allowed you to, Brad, it allows you to put, like you say, any player as a defender in any position for the team. Yeah, in fairness, I get, we go with that. But Craig, I think you're not going to go for Diaz, and you're going to make me have my first choice.
Well, no, what I'm going to do is cause a big problem now, because I have got Diaz, but I've got him somewhere else, and I know damn well that there's going to be an issue, because the person I've got, you're not going to put in. Because I've gone.
Why? You have great faith in me, don't you?
I've gone for Chilwell.
Why wouldn't I put Chilwell in?
You don't like him, Chris?
I do. Right? No. Where are you getting this information from?
Let me think. Now, when we did something, it was the team of the season one that we did with Dean, and you basically said, if any of you have got Chilwell, he's not going in. I'll tell you for now.
No. I was jesting. I actually, if you remember, I was one of the ones, and well, we all were, I think, on the channel, that was saying that the treatment that Chilwell was getting off the majority of Leicester fans, and the abuse was totally uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he didn't help himself with some of the things he said, but you shouldn't get abuse anyway. But I think, again, under Tuchel, I think he's going to pick up more defensive points, and he's probably one of the best three, if not the best, attacking fullbacks in the division for me. So I had to go for Chilwell. So that's two Chelsea players. Jeez.
Yes. Ankit's going to be absolutely ecstatic, isn't he? Hi, Scott. That's the wrong one. I was going to bring this one up. Craig's on my side today for a change. Big up. Luke Shaw, says Scott. Now, that would have been a good shout. Anybody considered Luke Shaw at all?
Yeah.
He's on my bench. He was on my bench, which might sound like, because see, I did actually pick a left back because of the way I put this team together. He's on my bench, not my starting 11. Because
we don't need a bench, Brad. We don't need a bench.
No, I'm saying that's what I mean. He was in my choice. He could rotate in. He was very close to going in there. He was very close, I'll be honest with you. That was a good shout.
It was, and again, it just shows, in fairness, how these things change around for people. But I have to put, in fairness, Chilwell down. He was, up until recently, England's left back. Obviously, he's fallen out of favour a little bit with the current squad. But I think, again, when he was at Leicester, he showed he can get forward, he could play, he could get a cross in, and he's got a bit of a goal in him sometimes as well, as we nearly found out at Wembley. Now, so right, we're going to jump now over to the other side. So we're going to go to the right here, Brad. Who have you got on the right?
Now this one,
you've probably got Chilwell on the right, haven't you?
No, but we can stick with Chelsea because I've got Reece James. I think he was excellent all season for Chelsea, and when he got pushed on in the FA Cup, he was probably the player that looked the most dangerous to breach Leicester's defence in a sense. He's been reliable. He's rightly been in the England team at points, and I think he's just been head and shoulders above most right backs this season. So that was one I was 90% sure I'd got in the right area of the pitch and the right side. So yeah, Reece James is what I went for.
Brett, we know who you're going for, don't we, Craig? Would it be Diaz by any chance?
No, because he's a centre half, not a right back.
Okay, I was being sarcastic. Who have you going for?
Yeah, I mean, Reece James is a really good shout. I do like him, and I think he'll have a really good season again next season. But I've gone for the guy who's been consistent over the last 3 seasons, far and away the biggest point scorer in this game. And even though he's a little bit suspect defensively from time to time, but most fullbacks are these days, is just phenomenal going forward. So I've gone for Alexander-Arnold.
It's a good shout.
It is actually. He says looking for help from the people in the cheap seats. Luke Ayling here says Scott. Reece James is also expected to play right centre back next season, says Ankit. Surely, yeah. I'm as much, and this really does pain me to do this. But and it's not because it's you, Brad. It's simply because we've got 3 Chelsea players in the team already.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
And if only for that hairstyle, to be honest with you, he's got to be there for the hairstyle. So can we actually go through the rest of the defence without picking any more Chelsea players, I wonder?
Well,
now, Brad, who do you think we would have in central defence then?
Right, now this might explain my logic with trying to get Diaz in my team by putting him on the left. Because do you want both my centre backs, or do you want them one at a time?
No, just one of them. Yeah.
I have got my first Leicester player in there. Blistering season, came to us at 19. Do I have to say any more? I think you know who I'm on about here. Apparently,
Johnny Evans.
Yeah, exactly. You got it in one, mate. You've got it in one. The young Johnny Evans. No, ridiculously brilliant. Wanted by everyone around the globe. I can't believe we've got such a talented youngster. It's Wesley Fofana. I've got
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that really much at all. Craig.
Well, I'm going to say Wesley Fofana. I've got him on the right-hand side because that's where he predominantly plays. Yeah. So I've got right and left centre halves. But yeah, Fofana and the value, of only 4.5 in this game as well.
Yeah, I was dead surprised by that.
Yeah, and as you say, he's had a full summer's rest as well. Not going to the under-21s. Or the Euros, even in the full squad. So he's had a full rest. Mm-hmm. He's only going to get better and better, isn't he? So for me, Fofana as well.
Yeah. Can't argue with that at all. Like I say, we are a full democracy here. Craig, we know you're going to go probably. Well, no, let's not presume. Let's go for Brad and your other centre back.
Yeah, well, we know that Craig's going to pick my left back because that's cheating. But this is why Diaz is on the left, because I went with Diaz's centre-back partner. I've gone for Stones, similar to Luke Shaw in the sense that everybody writ him off. He'd fallen away. He'd gone out of favour with Southgate and now looks a reborn centre-back, born-again defender. He's the first choice on Man City and England's team sheet. And yeah, I got him alongside Fofana. As the pairing for obvious reasons with the rest of my squad. This is why
yes. Craig surprised us.
No, I can't. I've gone with Diaz. I did have Stones on the right hand side for a long time, to be honest, because I was juggling the prices and Stones. Stones has done really well last season, and he chips in with more goals as well. I think he scored 4 goals last season. But again, I was just looking at it from the positions that they actually play. So that's why it's sort of, as soon as I got Fofana on the right, I needed a left-sided too. Yeah. And that's how they play. So I went for Diaz. And, to be honest, he is, I know it's not exactly true, but it basically is, if Diaz plays, they win. And that's how it was. It seemed to be last season. He's just sort of the rock that pulls the rest of them together. So, Stones is a great shout. I can't argue against it, but I've gone for Diaz.
Well, in fairness,
at least that way Brad gets his player in as well. Either way,
I'm gonna, yes. I was trying to draw the tension out there just a little bit.
Sorry, mate.
I am going to go for Diaz. If I can find him. Have I spelt that right?
DIAS.
DIAS, isn't it? Yeah. There we go. There he is. He was right at the top. I think we've got VAR because you both agreed on Mendy. We've got well, Brad's got his player in, although it's not in the position that he wanted. But he's got a player.
Tactics. You don't think I'll research this? I do. It's a TikTok.
So what do we think of our backline so far? Well, what do you think of our backline so far? It's ended, hasn't it?
Yeah, I like it apart from the right back.
I'm sure you do. Reece James, I like Reece James. I think he's a good player.
I think I would always just go Alex and Arnold just because of the threat going forward. But Reece James is going to be a star, I'm sure.
Yes. Virgil van Dijk. I don't know. I've not heard anything whether he's going to be back next season. But Ankit, you really are pushing the Chelsea players here, aren't you? Mount, he says, will surely be in there, and have Havertz as well. All I will say is,
I can say that they ain't making my midfield.
What can I say? If any of you here pick Werner up top, then I'm sorry, I completely think you've lost your minds. You've lost your minds. Right, so we're back to Brad, and we are back to a left midfield on this one. What's that there?
Yeah, all right. The joke's gone on now. I've been more proud. I think James Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse.
Set piece merchant should be higher than a club's caliber of Southampton. A lot of people argued he should have gone to the Euros. Yeah, he should be in the team. For me, he's there. He's ever reliant. So, yeah, Ward-Prowse was on my left side.
And Craig?
I do like Ward-Prowse. He's a great player, and as you say, Brad, he's brilliant at set piece. And I'm surprised he's not been linked with so-called bigger clubs. But I have gone for Grealish on the left-hand side.
I'm not surprised. I tried not to put him in there, to be honest with you. That's a good shout. Very, very, very good one.
I mean, he's just, as I think we mentioned him last night, he's just one of those players that gets you off your seat. You never know what he's going to do. Yeah, he is annoying. We know that, but I think there's not many players around. I've got a couple in who are, in my mind, are the exciting players, and he's one of them for me. So yeah, Grealish down the left.
Well, I was just about to actually Google on the other laptop Ward-Prowse's stats, but when you said Grealish, in fairness, there was just no need to, and I think Brad, even admitted there sort of secretly,
To be fair, on that side, I kind of concentrated my budget elsewhere, so I was happy that Ward-Prowse was at a of a reasonable price. To be fair, I expected Grealish to be mentioned at some point, so I'm more than happy to see him on the left.
Yeah, like you say, he's amazing. If he was your player, you'd absolutely love him. But when he's sort of somebody else's player, you can't stand him. TM there says needs a little Spurs added. I think. I don't know. Is that what you call Daniel Levy? But that's between you, TM, and Daniel Levy. I want to go, but you've got a little Portuguese added at Spurs. You finally got a new manager. Is it 1,400 days? I don't know how many days it is. 1,400, I think I read somewhere. Days. You finally got a new manager.
It's not bad though. They got their 8th choice.
Yeah. Is it? I thought it was lower than that.
Yeah. Funny enough, he was Nuno. Spurs was also his 8th choice, so it worked out well for him.
Yes, I think I liked him as a manager. I've got to be honest with you. Right. So we'll now go over to the right side of the midfield. And Brad, who have you put on the right side?
Right, I'm gonna give you the answer, not how my team's laid out, but to be politically correct for who plays on the right in this midfield I built.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make someone jump for joy if she's watching, no doubt, because I actually have an Arsenal player in there. I've gone for Bakary Saka. I think he's been phenomenal. I think he's been brilliant. He's stormed onto the scenes. He's probably the only saving grace for Arsenal this season that actually was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
And he's proven himself in the Euros. That I've noted, along with Sterling, that he's probably the only one that seems to get forward when we're not having Grealish on the pitch. He has an intimacy about him. I've been generally pleased with him. I think if Arsenal are fearing anything this transfer window, it's somebody of any standard above 8th that wants to go and bid 50, 60 million for him, because I think they'd get him with the state of Arsenal at the moment. So I've got him on my right, not in my actual squad, but for the argument of right-sided players, I will switch who I've got it down there.
I don't think she is watching, but I'll let her know. She will probably be very happy with you. You've got a friend for life now. You've got a friend in me. As bad as the rest of the season's been for Melina, will absolutely love that you put an Arsenal player in there. So, not that we're not playing on the tugging on the heartstrings here, Craig, but there's a lot to beat there.
I like Saka as well. I think again he's made a breakthrough and he's done well for England. My only thing against him is he goes down a little bit too easy for me and appeals for things. I prefer him to be a bit more physical, but then he's young and it'll come with time, I think. But he's definitely an exciting prospect and a good choice there, Brad. But I've gone for another of England's youngsters, someone who has last season had a better goal involvement per minute than Grealish, actually, and I've gone for Phil Foden.
Oh, good shout. A surprise, because he's not. I thought he'd be playing more for England than he has been.
Yeah, I think. I think it was a bit of a breakthrough season last season. He got more and more pitch time. Pep seems to trust him more and more, and I think he's only going to get better. He loves cutting in on his left foot. For his age, he shows a hell of a lot of maturity and physicality as well. And again, I think I've got two sort of exciting wingers there who can not only score goals but make goals.
Can I just say hi to Rich? Check him out at Rich Sports on YouTube. Can I just say, Rich, you're brave showing your face in there after what you did to me last night. I was in his show. I was on the comments, not in the show itself, joining in, having and one of his mods put me on a timeout. I mean, how could you do that to me?
You didn't start singing, did you?
No, that's where I might have gone wrong, So I'm tempted. I'm just hovering over those 3 dots there, Rich, as to whether to actually want to timeout. No, in fairness, the lady that did it, if you're watching Suzanne, Mrs. Cantona 7, she did try and click on the person above me who was being a total and utter pain in the arse, and he kept leaving and coming back in under different accounts and having a go. So she said she clicked on me by mistake, and I like to think that she did. But Rich,
I was on Tinder.
Yeah. Right. So we've got. I was about to make Melina happy, and I was going to say Saka. What a good choice, because Foden. Both good, exciting players, and then we've seen what they can do this summer as well.
If in doubt, who would you like Leicester to sign? Is always a good way to go, I think.
It is. What? And I don't know. There we go. I'm going to have to go for Saka, because he does. I would sign Saka because I think he's more achievable to get. I don't know. I don't think we'd get Foden off Man City.
I don't think we'll get Saka off Arsenal either.
Well, yeah, but probably Norwich City could at this rate. I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, Ankit makes a good point there. Saka over Foden just because he'd play every game. I mean, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? We've got to think: would Foden? I mean, he's getting more game time. Let's not not forget that. But yeah, Saka. I'm going to go with Saka. Brad, you convinced me on there, and thanks, Rich. I'll believe you. I'll believe you this time, Rich. Give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm just not going in again. That's me. I'm not going. Don't go there. Rich Sport 7s, avoid it. They kick you out. No, they don't. Seriously, check it out. It's a good channel. Right, central midfield, Brad. Give us your first one.
Second up, drum roll, please, because it's a second Leicester City player in there. And it is the FA Cup hero himself, Youri Tielemans, who I was surprised again I was able to fit in. I originally didn't have him in there because I didn't think I'd have the budget to get him in, but him with his partner, who I'll mention in a minute, have made it into the team. So yeah, Youri Tielemans was the first one on the list I put in there.
Well, Craig, do you have the man we all love at the moment in your team?
I'll tell you in a minute, but no. What I would say, Brad, if you've got the same guy I'm going to go for here, then obviously yell that he fills your other gap. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put against him. I'm going to put Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I've got one as well, mate. Exactly what I went for. I went for Bruno Fernandes. It made me sick because he's Portuguese and he plays for United, but I cannot doubt his talent. Bruno Fernandes, mate. I'm with you on that.
Okay, well, Chris, do you want to drop Bruno in, and then I'll put one up against Tielemans?
Okay, that can easily be done. It's Bruno, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bruno.
I was surprised because he was probably my most expensive player, but I was surprised that I had so much left considering the names in the teams that both of us got that we was able to get him in. I couldn't believe it. I thought he'd be up there in one of them that's ridiculously ruins your team. You end up with like Crystal Palace's third choice centre back in the squad. No,
I'm surprised how well you're both doing for the money. Obviously, I was way too generous with you guys. Even though you thought I'd knocked 10 million off you, I should have maybe knocked 30.
Well, it's almost like I mentioned that to you, Chris, isn't it? Anyway, moving on.
It's funny. It was almost like an idea. Had you actually mentioned that to me a week before, and I could have given Brad a bit of notice, we might have actually done it.
It was only when I was building the team I was thinking this is easier than it should be, to be honest.
Yeah.
So to go up against Tielemans, and I already know, Brad, you're going to win this one. I for a long time I had De Bruyne in there, but then I've gone for Foden for Man City, so I didn't want two Man Cities in there. So I've gone for a guy who has, for me, started to show his potential, and I think next season he's going to be a big point scorer. I think he's really going to come into his own. I think last season this guy suffered with COVID early on, and sort of suffered with long COVID, I think, and he struggled a bit, but last few weeks of the season he came good, and he's been looking good in the Euros as well. And I've actually gone for Havertz from Chelsea.
It's not a bad shout. He's probably been one of the most consistent ones for Chelsea. He's, despite losing to England, he's also had a good Euros. That's a very good. That's quite a good stature of player, mate. You put up to argue with Tielemans.
I just think you could see, the more games he played, the more he seemed to be coming into his own and getting used to the Premier League, the physicality of it, the pace of it. And I just think he's got a big season ahead of him.
I do not doubt that, mate. I do not doubt that for a second. I'm glad I'm not Chris in this situation, because even though we're Leicester through and through, that's a very good argument you've posted to go for.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that Chris is having microphone problems.
Seems to be.
Yeah. But I mean, Tielemans is. I love him. Chris is. No. Chris always has a go at me because I call him our quarterback. And for me, everything goes through it. Everything goes through Tielemans, and I think he's probably our most important player. You're probably the one that we would struggle to replace.
Definitely. I argue when the window opened that I'd be more concerned about Tielemans moving to a different club than I would be Maddison.
Yeah.
Or even Barnes to that extent.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, unfortunately.
Oh, we missed the opportunity. We couldn't have kept playing.
We've got to take the ball. We've got to play around the back. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It was showing me that it went off, and then it was showing me that it was working again, but you still couldn't hear me. But as I could rely on the two of you to carry on. So you filled well there, and after all of that, yeah, it has to be Mr. Tillemans.
I thought he was going to do what he did to us last night and put Steven Gerrard in there.
He's the manager, mate.
Ah, right. That's all right then.
Why am I spelling Tillemans wrong?
It's H-A-V.
T-I-E-L-E-M-A-N-S.
Okay. I'll do it that way. Yeah. So somebody was saying about Harvey Barnes, but he, he's not the best season. He's not played most of the season, has he?
I've not picked anyone that I'm not sure is going to be fit for the start of the season. Otherwise, James Justin would have been in my team as well.
This is the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Things that I've tried to do, and I've got a few players that are on my bench that I thought about putting in there, but for the same reasons, not in my 11.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of just say, Anki, I'm really glad I didn't invite you on this show, because you'd have had you would have busted the 3 players maximum for Chelsea rule after the defence, wouldn't you? Yeah, I love your loyalty, though. I love your loyalty. Right. So, what about that as a midfield, guys? Grealish, Tillemans, Fernandes, and Saka.
It's not bad, is it? That would cost a few pennies.
Yeah, definitely. It would cost more than 100 million we was given, or the 20 million, or whatever it was we were given as a budget. That's a lot more than that.
Oh, hey, I'll bring up the left and right again if you're not careful.
If I was allowed to jab back then.
I mean,
although I wouldn't know which one to jab you with.
Well, this is it. Don't take up boxing, mate. Don't take up boxing. Saka there. I mean, Grealish. You'd have either of those two in our team, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Unfortunately, because even though he's at Villa and he's imported from Ireland, I would take Grealish, but it's never ever going to happen. And
No.
I don't think the best for Saka as well.
No. So, Brad, and you'll pick a striker, and Craig, obviously, if he picks one that you've picked and the two, just agree with him, and then we'll look at the other two. It doesn't matter which side, Brad, obviously. Who would you have as your first striker?
Well, I'm going to embrace the singing moment and try and get over my fear of singing on camera. And I think he's the man that's going to be part of the Starlight now that Leicester have made a new signing. And I think that Nacho Man, he's going to go and score some goals, because I've got Iniesta. I think he's going to carry his form. I think if Brendan's taken anything from his form and how it's worked, he's going to continue to rotate the strike force, but with Vardy being the one that takes the bench. And I think Nacho's going to be playing there too quite a lot for the season. I think he's going to get a lot of game time off the back of his form, and I've got him in my team. He's the last Leicester player that made my team.
Can I just say, you've only picked him, and I know how you... I've known you long enough now to know how your mind works. And you thought, what is the most difficult player I can pick that Chris can't spell to get in the team? You sod. I've got it up here, so I do know. I can spell him. Brad, have you got the Nacho Man in?
No, but I'm going to give you a choice. Hi, Scott. Bamford was very close to my team, I must admit. My only I moved away from Bamford only because I'm not sure if he's going to be a one-season wonder, to be honest.
Yeah.
He had a great season, but for me, he's got to go and do it again, and I'm not sure. But Bamford is a good shout, and he was in for a long time before I put the guy in that I'm going to. My issue is, I think Brendan has got a bit of a problem if Harvey Barnes comes back fit, because Harvey Barnes doesn't fit into this system that he's been playing. And if he wants to put Harvey Barnes back in, for me, I think he goes back to a one up front, and that's why I've gone for Vardy. So plus, I like having penalty takers in my team as well, because they always pick up points. And for me, he does. Unfortunately, Salah's a midfielder, so he couldn't go in. Otherwise, I tried to get him in up front, and then I realised he was a midfielder in the game. But Vardy stretches the play still. You know, we saw that last season, and he's added more to his game if he does play as a two. I just think that he may end up reverting to a one, and it'll be Vardy. So, although I can't argue against Iheanacho, I thought I'd make it really difficult for Chris, and he has to choose between two Leicester players.
You say that now. Watch him go and say he's going to put Patson Daka in.
I'm just going to sit back and watch your brain melt, Chris.
Yeah, because you have made it hard being a Leicester fan. I mean, you know, I could overrule you, and I mean, I'm thinking sort of, you know, the guy that does get a couple of goals for us each season. He has been known to get a hat trick. We play Southampton. He likes to score. You know, there's a good shout for Perez.
Even our droves. That's it. I'm off. See you later, everybody. You just said it.
Oh, I'd have loved to have done that.
Obviously, Perez is down for a midfielder. Otherwise, you know, we'd have all had him.
Yes, yeah. Is he down as a midfielder? Because Leicester got him down as a forward.
Well, for this argument, he is.
I believe they are being taken to the what do they call it? Where it's wrong information, advertising things wrong.
False advertising. The only forward thing for me would be the assistant to the coach that's driving the coach to away games. I think he needs to go.
I know what you're saying there, Scott. But in a fantasy league, you have as many penalty takers as you can get in. So that's why I've got Bruno and Jamie. Yeah,
you see. Guys, I'm not going to do another one of these. Definitely now. This is so unfair. I mean, you know, Vardy. He's well. We'd all have his babies, wouldn't we? Let's be honest with you.
I think Daka's going to push him now. I think he knows he's got some competition, and it'll be interesting to see whether he steps up and realizes that he's got to make the most of the time he's got left.
But I think he probably also.
That's why I would. Sorry.
No, carry on, Brad.
I was going to say, I'll be honest, and with you, Craig, that's the only reason in the end that I went more. I was like you. I was thinking Vardy was my first instinct to go with Leicester striker, because I always have a Leicester striker in my teams. Yeah. But then when Daka was confirmed, I instantly thought there's more of a chance that Vardy becomes the one that rotates. The way I feel that, you know, I thought Vardy, Nacho, which one's going to get more game time? And I just feel that if Leicester now have these as a strike force, it's probably going to be Vardy that gets taken off and Daka comes on. And then if he does hit the ground running, it'll be Nacho and Daka in a two, and Vardy makes the impact sub. That's just where my logic went to put Nacho on.
I can fully agree. Again, it's just that if he decides to put Barnes back in, for me, I think he struggles to have two up top.
He's gone again. He's doing a U. He's just trying to show off now.
No. I thought I was going to let you two have the conversation there and put you on full screen so people could appreciate the beauty of the team that we've got here. You know, I'm not sure which one of you is Susanna Reid, but you know what? I'm looking at this, and I'd really love to put Vardy in. He went off form at the end of last season, in as much as the goals. Yes, he had his role that, was, he became provider, and, he did take the defenders away. But the point is, I mean, Ankit said there, Patson Daka doesn't start for you guys, right? Who knows? We said that about Fofana. We didn't expect for him to be playing, and he played most of the season, and look where he is. I think Daka's going to be a starter. He's what is he, 23 or something like that? So it's not like he's coming for the youth squad. And he's got amazing. Well, he knows where the net is, doesn't he? But my feeling is, and this is a fantasy team, but my feeling is that we are going to be looking at, you're going to get points for starters and what have you. And I just think Iheanacho will start more than Vardy will. And so that reason I am going for Iheanacho. And you never expected that, did you?
I did.
Well, I was hoping, being as he made my teammate, but I do understand why. When Craig mentioned Vardy, I thought, maybe lost this one now. Not gonna lie.
Well, that was my thinking. I just think Vardy, Daka comes in. I think Daka will get us more goals than Edouard would. I really do. And I just think that I think Iheanacho will be the starter, and I think we'll see the start this season coming of Vardy's lesser regular appearances. The last centre forward.
Can I let Craig go first? This one. I'm going to concede this because this was picked not with a lot of choices left for me. I'll be honest with you. I backed myself into a corner and left myself very limited options. So I'd like to hear Craig's one and maybe concede my position and tell you I did have, but concede it in terms of everything else. I'll be honest with you. As soon as my clock wants to pack it in and stop seeing the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
You finished at the moment? There you go. Oh man. Yeah, I backed myself into a corner when it came to this team, and
so you basically had no money left, so you had to go for Ched Adams, yeah? Right.
No,
okay. Let me.
For Perez.
Let me.
It ain't that bad. I just said that.
Okay. Well, I.
So who did you go for in the end? Sorry, Brad.
Oh no, I'm letting Craig
he wants me
first.
to go first.
I won't get picked. I don't think. I wouldn't expect it to get picked.
Well, I used my money wisely enough that I had enough to go for Harry Kane. He has to be in there for me. It's just goals and assist record last season was phenomenal, and even if he has a blip, he's still going to be a phenomenal scorer, whichever team he's at. So it's Harry Kane for me.
TM, are you still watching? You got your little bit of Spurs in there. Craig got his little bit of Spurs in. Brad, I'm somehow guessing from what you were saying then. Sorry, when you said Perez, I thought you'd actually gone for Perez.
No.
Kane,
Yeah, I kind of suspected that if Craig had been spreading his money around evenly the way he has building his team, that one of us was bound to have fit Kane in there. I'd been very surprised if I and Craig didn't both have Kane in that team. So I kind of went for someone who, when he's fit, can earn points, and was probably one of the reasons behind Newcastle staying up, because I'm not telling you who my bench striker is, because you'll take out every single one of my choices that has won it. So I had Callum Wilson, because despite his injury record, still has managed throughout his career to keep a respectable goal-scoring record wherever he's been. He's always been the team he's at fans player of the year. He's always found a way to find the net and come back from injuries. And I think a career that we look back on a bit of a missed chance if he'd have stayed fit a lot longer throughout his career may have been someone that we was talking about going this year to the Euros. or may have at least been looking at a bigger club than Newcastle. No disrespect to them, but I mean in terms of calibre of a club size. So yeah, I had Callum Wilson alongside Nacho. And again, I'm not telling you my top striker because you will take my team out. you'll pick
I Callum Wilson surprised me last season. I must admit, I wasn't sure that he could go again in a different team, and he did surprise me. I thought he played really well for Newcastle. He's very Vardy-like in the fact that he always plays on the last man, always looks to run in behind, and he's a constant threat. So for the money he costs, he's a very good shout. But yeah, I'm not sure he's going to get past Kane.
I'll make it easy. I'll make it easy for you, Chris. Don't worry. I'm happy to. I can't believe I'm saying this, but for this team, for the purposes of this team, put Kane in. Thank you, please. Don't take the strike on that one. I'm happy.
Can I be honest with you? I was just letting you talk then, Brad, because as soon as Craig said, as soon as the E at the end of Kane came out of his mouth, he was in there. I'm sorry, mate.
I was half waiting for him to go Calvin Lewin and change it up to Dominic Calvin-Lewin, but he didn't. He stuck with Kane. The irony is, the Spurs player makes it into the team, and he could be a Manchester City player by the end of the week.
Well, yeah, that's what Anket said there. The Spurs player or City/Chelsea. Are you thinking Leicester City there? I mean, he does want to win trophies. He does want to win trophies, and we win trophies here, Yeah. But right, well. What do we think of that team then? So we've got Mendy in goal, Chilwell and James as our left and right back, with Diaz and Fofana in the centre. Grealish, Tielemans, Fernandes and Saka across the midfield. That's a damn good midfield, I think, to be honest with you. And Kane and I think, Inacho up front. I think it's a formidable team. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, you wouldn't argue. You'd be very happy if you went down to the King Power and that was the team that walked out the tunnel, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. And if you know 5,000 to 1 on them to win the league, that's
And in fairness as well, we have actually got 3 Leicester players in there, so even we're happy. Yeah. Controversial here, Scott. Wouldn't have Kane anywhere near the team personally. Think he has hit his peak, especially at Spurs.
No, Spurs are just playing the life out of everybody there. He's still a world-class striker. He still managed 6 goals and assists this season, even with that drab.
I think if you look at Raheem Sterling, and if you looked, I mean, I know he's doing well at the moment. In this tournament, he's our top goal scorer, but I think. If you looked at his overall England career, you might go, yeah. But when he's with Man City, he's on fire. And I think if you put Kane, take him out of Tottenham, and no disrespect to TM, there's, mediocre players at Scotland. Let's be honest with you. Scotland, sorry. Well, there are at Scotland anyway. Don't know where that came from. But there's mediocre players at Tottenham, possibly apart from Son. But you put him in that Man City side, and I just think give him the golden boot in week 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can see where Scott's coming from. Sorry, Brad, you go, mate.
Oh no, I was literally saying I can see that continuing if he goes to Man City. There's a reason they're going for him. That was literally I was adding on to Chris.
I think I can see what Scott's saying, and particularly if you look at how Harry's playing for England in this tournament. To me, he doesn't look fit. I think he got a couple of injuries towards the end of the season. I'm not convinced that he's shaken them off. And also, he doesn't look like he wants to get hurt. For me, I don't think he's gone in for a tackle in any game I've seen him, because I don't think he wants anything to come in the way of his move. And I think he's protecting himself a little bit.
Do you think that's affecting him? He knows that if he gets injured, it will.
I think so. I think this is his last chance of a big move, and he doesn't want to get in the way.
We have an actual habit and a knack in these tournaments to make sure that our best player on paper statistically, and it happened with Rooney, I believe, one tournament, we have a habit of sending our strike force there with a bit of a muddled head. Because wasn't the whole Rooney to Manchester City thing around like a Euros or a World Cup, and he went there a bit muddled in the mind, and we've had a few players over the years that seem to get their heads twisted when they go to talk of England.
Well, I mean, Sancho's got the best goal involvement record of anyone in that squad, and he hasn't had a minute on the pitch yet. So, and I'm sure that Gareth will come out and say that, you know, he was protecting him because he's happy that now that that's all put to bed because it was playing on his mind, blah blah blah. But
do you know what I was going to say? In fact, because I had this conversation with my son the other day when we were watching the England game. How many times before England set off for a tournament did the newspapers suddenly decide to print some scandal about one of the England players? And it was probably something they'd had for, 5, 6, however many weeks. But of course, for them, just as they're setting off on the plane to fly to a tournament, they bring it out about somebody having an affair or somebody's out on, getting drunk and was out late at night when they shouldn't have been. That's the British press for you, isn't it?
Sadly, you're right. It is. They like to cause them up, don't they?
They do indeed. So that is the team we've got. Let's say just quickly run through it again. Mendy in goal, Chilwell and James as the left and right backs. Diaz and Fofana holding up the central defence there. Grealish and Saka, I think, two exciting wingers there with Tielemans and Fernandes hasn't had we know he's not had a brilliant tournament, but I think he single-handedly rescued Man United's season, didn't he? And then Kane, and I think if Kane does go to even Man City or Chelsea, whichever he goes to, he will improve again, and I think we'll see the old Harry Kane because of the players that are around him, and of course Kelechi there, as I think he is going to get the most games. Guys, who would your captain be?
Oof. That's a tough one there. There's no standout for me, but
no quarterbacks in there, Craig?
Even though I've not picked him. Yeah, I was going to say, even though I've not picked him, I'll give it Yuri.
And Brad,
I'd be happy to that. I think the only natural captain on there, to my knowledge, and someone's going to correct me, is Kane. So, and that's obviously just to my, that's not really a position how you say keepers aren't your cup of tea for choice as a captain. Well, for me, strikers aren't for me. So I'm happy to say if we're going to captain anybody, I would give it to Tielemans or Grealish. I'd captain either of them two because I think that side would build and feed off someone who likes to stir the emotion and rile you up. They're two players that spring to mind that do that.
And two would be two totally different captains. I think Grealish would be sort of, we spoke last night, like a Tony Adams, Terry Butcher type captain, where Tielemans is more of your, a bit like Harry Kane, I suppose, more like a David Beckham leading by example and what have you.
And he's been vice captain for Leicester at times. He stood in a few times, hasn't he? This season, it was noted in cup games and whatnot. So he's definitely one that's in the wings of training to become a captain.
I think if you would you not agree, Craig? If you played American football, you could almost say him as like a quarterback, couldn't you?
It's a very good point you make, Chris, and I can
somebody
only agree
very
with
wise told me that once. Yeah. Somebody very wise told me.
Oh right, okay.
I don't know who it was, but
no idea.
He was a wise old gentleman. Well, we managed to get through it without too much singing. Brad did give us a little bit of Nacho Man. Watch out for the channel, and you might see, like I say, old men on the street corner performing their version of the England rap. As always, thank you guys for your time and your effort, not only sort of today, but obviously in putting that together. And I don't know what we're going to do with these rules. I think I'm going to have to send you them like a month in advance and get you to sign it and send it back to us so that you know it. You two guys, you're going to be back next Tuesday, is it? Tuesday, I do believe. Yes, Tuesday, when you will be picking the worst ever Leicester City manager. Who have you got, Brad?
Oh, I've got let me try and sing it. It might be easier to say than it might be easier to sing it than say his name because it makes me feel sick of the tongue. I've got Peter Taylor. He's the worst manager in history. With Junior Lewis, he ruined Leicester entirely. There you go.
That is definitely becoming a jingle. It's definitely becoming a jingle. And Scott, I don't know if he'll say the same about your singing, but he does say you're improving on your short, sweet answers. I don't know if that was sweet singing or not. Actually, he's just come back with that. Brad, you're up against Peter Taylor. Who have you got in your corner?
That's Craig.
Craig, sorry. Craig.
You know, we just allow Chris to sort of sit there and feel like he's in charge, but we'll sort it between us.
To be honest with you, could you concentrate after that singing? You know, Brad had the audacity before you came in earlier to actually say how bad our singing was, and then he comes up with that.
To be honest, I mean, that's two songs in one night. I'm thinking there'll be an album before Christmas.
Sing along a Brad.
Yeah, I've got Frank McClintock. Of people of a certain age. Even I'm pushing it, to be honest. But two excellent bad managers.
I think with both of them. I mean, with Peter obviously took the Martin O'Neill team and completely destroyed it. And there's something to be said, and you guys will possibly say this on Tuesday. There's something to be said for a new manager coming in and rebuilding, but they sort of just took the foundations away. And Frank McClintock pretty much did the same with the Jimmy Bloomfield team, and that was, although that never won anything, and that's the problem with that team. But it will always be remembered fondly by us of a certain age. And Craig, if he's being honest, he's No, yes, you do. You remember the Leicester teams of them years. Don't tell me you don't. But Scott's saying Craig Levine. I mean, that's a very good shout as well to have put in there.
Yeah, I think we could do one that might be inclined to lean towards one that everybody remembers, because didn't we talk about possibly doing Holloway versus Levine or someone like that? That'd be an interesting one. One to do one of these at a different version.
What we might do, we might have a couple of semi-finals.
Yes, good shout.
Yes, Holloway and Levine. Keep that in mind, gentlemen. Monday, if you're not at work, 1:00. I've got an in conversation with. Now, you should remember this gentleman, Craig. I don't know if you will, Brad, because he might be before your time. Dave Bartram.
Dave Bartram, yes, of course,
yeah.
He was on one of our. I think it was the post cup final show, wasn't he?
Yeah. A good friend of the channel and of the website as well, and a bit of the old hey rock and roll. But unlike Brad, I won't burst into song. So we've got him on Monday at 1:00. Absolutely true Leicester fan, and of course a Leicester legend as well there. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Saturday, you're going to be watching the games, I take it.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
definitely.
Are we watching it at home in a pub with friends? I'm sure drink will be involved with both of you.
I don't know what you mean, Chris.
But yeah, this is the AA meeting. We forgot to.
Well, the other day, Craig was saying, "I'm at my friends. I've had a few drinks. I'll message you when I get home." And I never heard from him, so I presume that he'd got in, laid on his bed, and gone to sleep. Those two shandies, Craig. They go to your head, don't they?
Yeah, it doesn't take much these days, does it? A little, a quick baby sham or two, and I'm done.
Guys, thanks very much, and enjoy the weekend, enjoy the game, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Cheers everyone. Cheers, Brad. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, Craig. Cheers.
wasn't a bad team that we got together, was it? Wouldn't mind seeing that in Leicester Blue next season. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining in. A couple of idiots in the chat, but we got rid of them. And I don't mean Brad and Craig. I mean in the chat down the side on YouTube. I saw them looking at me there from the green room, thinking like, I didn't mean you guys. Yeah, Saturday night. Not sure what time, because hopefully it'll be 10:15ish. If it goes to extra time, add half an hour onto that, and if it goes to penalties, probably add another half an hour onto that. And if we lose, then add 4 years onto it. So we'll be back for the post-match show, Leicester, England versus Ukraine. And Monday at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be in conversation with Dave Bartram, the show Waddy Front Guy. And then on Tuesday, McClintock versus Taylor. Who was the worst manager? You know, it's not like, if you'd actually look at it, it's not that easy. I know everybody thinks of Peter Taylor and what he did, but, you know, Frank McClintock, he fucked it up a bit as well. So don't presume anything. Have a good weekend. Football's back tomorrow. Yes. And then, of course, 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Yeah, I'm not going to start. It's England. Come on, England. See you then, guys.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.